Hello Stampers, are you ready to make today's scene? I have a beautiful sunset that's over a mountain range today for you. So let's get started. We're going to start with a 3 by 4¼ inch square piece of basic white. You can find all the dimensions for the panels down below this video. Just click show more and they're under the description. And also the links for all the products used are down there too. That'll take you directly to my online store where you can shop with me 24/7. Now we're going to start with this basic white panel, and I'm going to bring in Mango Melody ink. And I'm also going to use a blending brush. And I'm just going to turn this kind of sideways, and I'm just going to go back and forth on this panel here a bit. And I'm really just concentrating a little above the halfway point. I have a strip, I'm going to say about 2 inches wide here. And right in the center of it, I'm going to make a really dark line here, just by going back and forth over that same bit there. See how that's a little darker there? I just love this Mango Melody. Just think it's a beautiful color in sunsets. Okay, so we got that on. And now we're going to switch out and we're going to go to Highland Heather. And we're going to use a purple blending brush. I have a blending brush for each color family. Like I have one for my purples, I have one for my blues, one for my oranges. You get the picture. It's nice to do that. Then I don't have to worry about cleaning them all the time. Okay, so we're going to do that same method. We're just going to go back and forth here. And we're going to go down into that Mango Melody just a bit. Here we go. And then we're going to turn it around. And we're going to do it this direction. Okay, now we need a post-it note, and I have a 3 by 5 post-it note here. This is the sticky edge up here at the top, and I'm going to rip like in the middle of this. I'm going to start ripping some very small mountain shapes, some a little higher, some a little lower than the others. You just want a different like rip there, because we're going to be using all of this and we're going to move it around so that we get a different look in our mountain range. It doesn't look like the same mountains each time we use it. So I wanted it a little wider than my cardstock so I could do that, so I could move it around. And I have the sticky part here which will hold it in place. Now I want to put this, I'm going to put this just towards the bottom of that Mango Melody. There we go, and I'm going to stay with that same color, Highland Heather, and I'm just going to color in where these mountain shapes are. Be careful you don't go over the edge here. And you can peek underneath and you see that we have our mountain shapes in there. Okay, so we're going to move this. So I don't want to have that same exact thing down here. So I'm going to move it over and I'm going to bring it like up here to where it swoops down. That's where I want the top of my peak to be. And we're going to switch colors up here. We're going to go to Orchid Oasis. This is one of the new in colors and it is gorgeous. So I'm going to bring in another blending brush here. This is more of a blue color. It's kind of bluish purple, but more towards the blue side. And I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to fill in just the mountain shapes here. And I don't want to go very deep on this because we have additional mountains to put in. See, there is 2 of our ranges. Now I think I just want to go all the way over here and move this so I have a different shape going on here. And I'm going to switch out my colors. Now we're going to go to our darkest mountains, which is Night of Navy. And you don't have to put this on extremely dark. We just want it darker than that Orchid Oasis. So I'm going to bring this over here, and you can fill in this whole bottom with this. So now we have our darkest mountains in there. And I like that a little bit of that Highland Heather is showing above that darkest range. I think that's really pretty to have in there. Okay, we're done with that Post-it note now. And this is our background colors. Those are all of our mountains. So now we're just going to go to Memento Tuxedo Black. And I have the largest tree out of the Peaceful Deer stamp set. This is a great stamp set if you want some trees for your scenes, because it has just different sizes that you can use to get a lot of depth in your projects. So I'm going to use this largest one, and I'm not going to ink up that base to it, the tree trunk part. I'm just only going to ink up the tree. Now I want to get this good and inky because I want a nice black tree here. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that, and I'm stamping it there we go. I'm going to stamp it and I'm going to hold it. I want a nice good image. And if you find that your image isn't dark enough, like if you can see your mountains in the back of it, then you want to take a marker and fill it in, which I think I'm going to. I always like my silhouettes to be really dark. So I'm just going to take a Stampin' Blend Basic Black marker. This is the dark one. And I'm just going to color this tree in real quick. I'm more or less just hitting the center. You don't have to get too crazy. I just want to cover some of that where you can see through the tree there, and if you can see the mountains. So just make sure that your mountains aren't showing through your tree. So there's our tree. And now we're going to ground it. We're going to put some Memento Tuxedo Black. We're going to use a blending brush for this. And we're going to blend right at the base of that tree, and we're going to make a little hill for it to be on. Really simple. And that is all that's to it. I think I want to do one more thing. I'm going to bring in that Orchid Oasis. I think I want a little bit of this in my sky. Sometimes I look at things at the end and I just want to add something. So I'm just going to add a little of this. I'm just going to swipe from this one side. I'm not going all the way across. I think I just wanted some more color up here. There we go. So there is that. And I think I just got it just the way I want it. So, you can back this with a panel of gold foil, but instead of that, I'm just going to bring in my Prismacolor. It's a metallic gold marker. It's a broad tip. And this is great because I'm just going to edge this. I'm going to hold my marker halfway on and halfway off this cardstock and just pull it right down the sides. This gives you that gold edge that we all like, without having to use gold foil if you don't have it, or you use gold foil if you do have it. So that gives us our little gold edge, and it just turns out really pretty. So there's that. And then I'm going to add, I have a 2" by 3.5" piece of basic black cardstock. It's a rectangle. and then I cut it in half diagonally. Now these are going to be like photo corners on either long, and so I'm going to add these to the back of my panel. Got a little gold on that one. It's okay. So I'm going to add my glue to the top left and bottom right of my panel. And then I'm going to add these corners on. So again, it's top right, bottom left. I'm top left, bottom right. Oh, don't know my left from my right today. Here we go. And there is our photo corners on there. Okay, now I'm going to switch my paper out because I don't want to get any of that gold on my cardstock here. Just give it a flip over. I have a basic white card base here, and it's 5.5 by 8.5. Then on top of that, I have a basic black panel that's 4 by 5.25, and then I have another white panel that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And it just gives a nice little framing for our main panel here. So I'm all ready to put this on. I'm just going to glue it on. So I'm going to add glue to these photo corners and to my actual panel here. And I'm going to add this to the center of my card the best I can here. And there is the front of our card. And there is plenty of room if you want to add a sentiment in here. I like it plain. I want to put my sentiment on the inside. So inside, I finished off my card. This front is kind of heavy, so I have 2 panels in here to weight the back so it's doesn't seem so flimsy compared to the front being heavy. So I have a basic black panel here that's 4 and 5.25, and then a basic white panel that's 3 3/4 by 5 on the inside of that. And there is our finished card for today. I hope you enjoyed the sunset project and that you give it a try. Here's my original, and here is the one that we just did. And each one will turn out a little different. It depends on how heavy you are with your inks and such, but it turns out great. Thanks for joining me. Bye.